The first ever Superfoiler Grand Prix delivered the goods in Adelaide. We slipped, slopped and slapped on some stunning racing on a gorgeous racetrack.
Here we go, sending it hard. Everyone all right? We're gonna sing. Get the top of the ring.
It's Record Point who are in serious trouble. It looks like they may well be going turtle there as our chase boat gets there. We've lost someone overboard. They were going so fast, so is Gonski's.
Everyone said we made it look easy, but it didn't feel easy on board.
Welcome to Geelong, Victoria for the second leg of the Superfoiler Grand Prix. Here on Corio Bay, our machines are ready to play.
Nick, Victoria is known for experiencing 4 seasons in one day, and the unpredictable winds forecast will make it difficult for the sailors to build a solid strategy pre-start and for them to decide which sail size to use. But Nick, that is almost a second priority. The big story here is we have 6 teams out on the water. The boat builders have worked overtime and they've managed to construct a new hull for Tech 2, and the boys are ready to race.
It's an incredible story and a superb example of some remarkable teamwork. Luke Parkinson could hardly believe himself.
I think anyone who's been in competitive sport and had to sit out and watch through injury or equipment damage is one of the hardest things, and it's pretty hard emotional to keep it together. But I think our guys have done a pretty decent job of it. You know, we've been watching video footage, staying up late and working out what everyone else has learnt, trying to catch up. You know, I've definitely got under quite a few people's skin, just pushing and pushing, trying to get it all ready. And probably lost maybe a couple of mates this week, but, you know, a couple of drinks and we'll all be good again. Tyson's bunch, you know, the boat builders have been working around the clock, and, you know, today she floats, she works, and we're ready to go racing. You know, we're recharged, we're ready to go, and we're just waiting for the breeze.
Luke Parkinson there, probably the happiest man in Geelong to be making the start line. It really was an around-the-clock scramble after such an eventful first race. Tess, we've got a wider race course this weekend. Do you think that'll bring the racing closer together?
Yeah, look, different conditions here, and all the teams have had more time in the boat. We had 3 races yesterday. We saw some really close finishes, and the time distance between all the boats was much closer. So I think we're going to be in for some pretty exciting racing today.
Absolutely, and there was plenty of exciting racing yesterday as well. Let's find out how it all unfolded. Stop 2 of the circuit and Geelong's wider runways had Phil Robertson licking his lips in the opening race.
Fast out here, good one.
Euroflex again dropped the hammer, while Tech 2's skipper slipped up.
Yep, I'm with you.
Luke Parkinson was barely dry when Record Point found a vein of gold. They were left to chase the tail of the never-fail Euroflex. Race 2, and this time it was ID Intranets. After victory in the Victorian opener, Euroflex searched for spectacular in the next, threading the needle en route to another win and starting to look unstoppable. The Dream Team on cloud 9. The third of the day, and Record Point again found themselves at the pointy end.
Hey! He's not laying. No.
The Dark Horse galloping towards a breakthrough victory.
Go, 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 go!
Until Euroflex robbed the Kiwi skipper of glory, this time with the line in spitting distance.
Yeah, boys! We got him! Okay. That's the schnitzel.
Rather than cry, Record Point decided laughter was the best medicine.
Should have gone turbo. Out at the top, eh?
Painful. Oh, that would have been a good one to get up. Oh well, I think we're sailing well.
Sort of feel almost a bit sorry for them there to pip them on the line right at the end, but we're like, nah, we can't give it away that easy. So we, we actually pulled off a really nice jibe and managed to just sneak through by a boat length at the end. So super exciting, and definitely got the old heart rate above 50 beats per minute, that's for sure.
All good, lads. Nice race, mate.
Yeah, solid. Good days, boys.
Yeah, it was actually pretty painful, to be honest. I just didn't quite have enough heat in the oven at the end of that race. Painful finish to be drifting so close to a win, but no, we're coming for them, and I think the blue boat will go down soon.
One gets the feeling if someone does take them down, it will be Record Point. They had 2 second-place finishes and sit just 4 points off Euroflex. ID Intranet also had a great day with a second-place finish, but Tessa Parkinson, no great surprise that Euroflex continued their unbeaten run, so dominant yet again.
Yeah, Nick, look, they've won every race in the competition so far, and the 3 sailors, they're renowned to be the best in the world, Nathan, Glenn and Goobs. And in particular, Nathan and Goobs have spent more than 10 years campaigning together in the 49er, so they've got solid teamwork skills, which are really helping their boat speed.
Absolutely, they sure do, and that means the rest of the fleet are looking to scheme to find a way to unlock that dominance. Let's find out what they've come up with.
Practice. I think is the big secret to catching Euroflex. We were out for a good day yesterday. We finished it with a little swim, but even that is all good practice. We've just got to perform well today, and there's Tech 2 back out on the water today, and there'll be a good challenge to them as well.
They really are 3 of the best foiling sailors in the world, so they're really experienced and they're really polished, so I think that's something that we really need to take into the next few events so that by Sydney we can take them down.
I think it's us versus them, isn't it? And then with that attitude, I think it's 5-on-1.
Is there some chat around the launch pad at the moment that you guys need to start ganging up on them a little bit?
I think there might have been something said at dinner last night, but we might just keep that between ourselves and we'll see how it goes.
We've seen all their secrets. Well, not all of them, but quite a few. I've sailed with Nathan Goobs quite a lot, so I think I've got a similar way of thinking and with the foils and things like that. But also, our boys, we're not afraid to keep the foot down on the pedal. And we've shown that before, so we just got to manage that a little bit and we'll see how we go.
Heard of a meeting of the minds last night. A couple of teams got together, formulated a battle plan to single objective, take Euroflex down. Gosh, that mustn't feel too good.
Yeah, look, I'm sure we've got targets on our backs now after having a little win last weekend in Adelaide. But at the end of the day, you're racing yourself on these boats as much as you're racing your opponents. It's very, very difficult to get these boats around the track cleanly. You can't hide on these things. You make a mistake, you get exposed, and that's the beauty about high performance racing is that you've got to be on your game 100% of the time. The gains and losses can be quick, and hopefully we can have another successful event here.
These guys have been on their game the whole entire time, and Record Point pushed them all the way yesterday. Some thrilling racing from Phil Robertson and the boys, pushing Euroflex to every single post. I know they'll be looking to do the exact same again as we check in on all our technology.
Dan, is my GoPro on?
Yeah.
Thank you.
We've got the all clear from pavement, which means we're ready to go racing. It's happening on the other side of this. Here we are in Geelong. Not a sunny day, but plenty to like about the breeze that's pulsing in. Should provide some wonderful racing, and Jack has the latest.
Very exciting down here today, Nick. We've got absolutely ideal conditions in Geelong. We've got about 13 to 16 knots of pressure, which is perfect for these machines. Flat water, and it's going to be some great racing. So, interestingly, ID has the little main on. That's the only change that I can see from all the other boats. So keep an eye on them. They could be the rocket ship out of the start line here now.
Interesting to see for the first time one of the Superfoilers taking a risk and doing something the other ones aren't. Taking a look at the conditions, it is overcast. We have a southerly blowing 14 to 17 knots. That is perfect for superfoiling. And it is the perfect sporting backdrop here in Geelong as well. Home to one of the AFL's top teams, the Geelong Cats. Their stadium not far away from our stadium, Tess, where the best in the world of sailing are about to go flying.
Yeah, this is going to be exciting racing, Nick. Optimum conditions for the Superfoilers to reach maximum speeds, and setting up for the start of the race. Tech 2 flying in here.
Go behind Nate. Racing, guys, lean hard. I can't see, lean hard. Hey! Let's go! No overlap! Up! Hey! Go fast, lean hard.
Aidan Menzies with his hands pointing towards the heavens. They've got a protest on Euroflex. They're spitting chips already.
Okay, we're going to do a 2 tack after the gunman.
He's got a penalty.
7. 5 seconds to go. Euroflex will have to take the penalty after the start.
Nice and slow here, guys. We're going to let them all go so we can 2 tack.
Well, Tessa, what went wrong there? Euroflex, they're usually perfect. They've dropped the ball massively.
Yeah, Tech 2 set up for a late approach into the start, and as they accelerated, their middle hull established an overlap with Euroflex there, and they tried to push them up into the wind. Euroflex didn't avoid, so they've been given a penalty for the windward leeward rule.
Okay, good pressure now. Bring on the chase, boys. They're just doing that to dick with us, I think.
The skipper of Euroflex clearly not happy with that decision, but it has opened the door for the remaining 5 Superfoilers, and it's a jailbreak with Pavement leading the way ahead of Record Point and Tech 2. Euroflex are more than 200 metres in their wake, Tess.
Yeah, Euroflex have just got to put that in the past now and get sailing. They know they're fast. There's lots of opportunities on the course with the pressure.
There are opportunities aplenty, and Pavement's making the most of it at the moment in the lead here.
Yeah, pressure's in front, a little bit lingering inside. Gus goes on the nose now.
Can see their boat accelerate as they run into that pressure there. Record Point off to an awesome start here on the inside with a nice lane, and onboard Tech 2 working hard here. Aidan Menzies on the main sheet, sheeting on to find a high mode.
Gus on still, that'll increase now and then decrease.
Any closer to Dan Morris there, and I would have had to ask him to brush his teeth. We are right on board with Pavement, and they're putting the meters in. This is spectacular racing, the best in the business, doing what they do best. How good is this?
Any more inside puff? A little bit, eh? Go, boys. We're actually going to be, everyone's going to be in the zone here.
A lot of congestion into the top mark here.
We're going to be in the zone here. We've got to tack underneath Pavement, okay? Stand by. Hey!
Record Point think they've got inside around this first top gate.
Hey! I was in the zone there!
Phil Robertson in the zone, just ask him.
Stop it!
Euroflex flying in with speed.
Protest! Got to go right mark now. Board's good.
Got the board.
I'll get the main. My main. Protest!
Copy that. Wait forward.
Plenty of tension on board right now. Euroflex have just come from last, and all of a sudden they're throwing their weight around at the front.
They had great pressure coming into the top gate here, and with this congestion, Record Point thought they had inside room around the top gate but didn't, so have tacked, and now they're rounding the right mark. So we've got an equal split in the fleet. These 3 boats are rounding the right top gate here, and the other 3 have rounded the left.
One on us now.
Nathan Outeridge calling the breeze perfectly there. One man that knows all about Corio Bay's breeze is Jimmy Wasbowski. What's going on out there, Jimmy?
You can see right there what we're looking for are these dark patches on the water, and right there Euroflix has picked up an awesome gust and they're shot out of a cannon. They're down the track, million miles an hour. If you're not foiling right now, they're going to put hundreds of metres on you if you don't get up and going.
Just like Ricky Bobby, if you're not first, you're last. It's Talladega Nights on Geelong's waterways.
Gonna need 2 quick jibes down here, aren't we? Yeah, almost got us.
The time to do the jibe is when you're in good pressure here. Euroflex flying, so they're connecting the puffs to really gain on this leg.
Yeah. Like, 10 away? Yeah, anytime, boys.
Setting up for a jibe here. Goobs on the bow, pulling the foil down. Oh, almost slipped over there.
Sorry, boys.
Didn't quite nail the foiling jibe.
Going for an apology there, but nothing to apologise about from Nathan Outeridge. Jack, this is a masterclass from Euroflex.
Yeah, it's lovely down here, Nick, as I said earlier, but we've got the Euroflex, went from dead last to first in one beat. They've carried the pressure all the way into the top mark, got around cleanly and foiled into their jibe that they've just got through. So here they come. Oh no, they just ran out of pressure, just as I said that, and the pavement takes the lead going absolutely flat stick.
Oh, mama! Pavement are here and they're sending it down the course at the moment. This is good to watch.
Keep sailing this mode. 2, 1, just there. Big shoulder stand.
Big weight out here.
Big sharp 1, sharp 2, 1, big pressure.
See the angle change as that pressure hits the boat there and they can sail lower towards the marks and really pick up speed.
Hold trap.
A lot of talk on board about which bottom gate mark they're going to round here to stay in the pressure.
Euroflex playing catch up. This is the machine leading the way.
5 seconds to round up.
Pavement in the lead now, doing everything right. They can't put a foot wrong.
Trap priority, nice.
And this is beautiful to watch, and clean, mate. They can't do anything wrong either. Oh, but Jimmy, they've just rounded and touched down there.
Yeah, so around these bottom marks, there's about 10 or 15 things you have to do all at once perfectly, and what you see Euroflex doing there is that. So if you get the rudder lift or the mainfoil lift slightly out of their ratios, then the boat's going to launch into the sky and come crashing down, which you saw from Olivia there.
On board here, she's rounded up through the max power zone, just put too much lift in the rudder foil and the bow flies up, crashes down onto the water. The crew have done a great job to stay on board.
We're on a lead, clean mate. Yep, anytime.
They're opting to tack first. They want to head out back to the middle before clean made.
Olivia Price will be sweating on this one. She knows the dream team are closing in. Her gap at the moment just 11 seconds to our third place sitter. Pavement's ahead, clean made second, Euroflex third. It's quite the skirmish. It's going to light up in Geelong on the other side of this.
Gust on 2, 1, little one now. Easy trap, it's good.
Reese Mara on the main sheet, super vocal here. This is the leading boat. They've got 11 seconds on clean made.
Gust on the inside, 2, 1, pressure on now.
And they are lighting up Corio Bay at the moment, and it's all thanks to some great teamwork, communication across the boat, keeping Steve Thomas dialed in, Jimmy.
So we've got a great shot here. Steve Thomas on pavement doing 20 knots upwind. He's just come around the bottom gate, done one tack and perfectly laid that start-finish line again. So he's on his way to the top mark.
Steve Thomas is very accurately steering different modes, different angles to the wind to chase the pressure and to stay in at the longest here, doing a great job of it.
Reese Mara calling the breeze. The effect on the Superfoiler is negotiating these waters like a slithering, slippery snake. She's pointing up and she is flying, and so too Euroflex, Tess. Looks like they're shutting the gate a little bit and closing gauge on clean made.
Yeah, that's right, Nick. Cleanmade have overlaid coming into the middle gate here, which has allowed Euroflex to make up some ground, and Euroflex has got that leeward position, a bit of freedom to be able to put the bow down and build speed.
It's by no means over though. Olivia Price will be stalking this machine, the Euroflex. She'll have them in her sights all the way up here.
Early drive. 2 less manoeuvres.
Reese Mara, main sheet on pavement. They're processing all the information. They need to be careful with their boat position, protect themselves against the rest of the fleet, so they're staying in between Euroflex and Cleanmade and the top mark, and having a think about how they can minimise their tacks approaching the top gate.
Tess, they've got plenty of time to think about it, Euroflex and Cleanmade. They are 330 plus metres behind our front runner pavement. That's what it looks like stretching across the Geelong racecourse at the moment. But Jimmy, this is the section where things can go wrong quickly.
This is where all the gains and losses will be made. It can get very light up here, so you've really got to link up the pressure and stay out of those lulls.
On 3, 2.
Jack, is that how you're seeing it this very moment?
Pavement's sailing really well, very clean race. They're coming in on a lay now to go around the top mark, and if they get a nice puff, I think they're going to put some more distance on the Euroflex and Cleanmade, who are about 20 seconds behind them. So Pavement really need to try and lay around the top mark. At the moment they're struggling, which will cost them.
Not laying the top mark means they're going to have to do an extra tack here while Euroflex is sending it in.
Medium pressure. 4 point. Copy.
This is going to feel like an eternity test. They've just fluffed one, and Euroflex and Cleanmade are going to pounce ASAP, and Steve Thomas will be furious.
Thinking about 4 boards, guys.
What do you reckon? It's got Nate there somewhere?
Yeah. Where do you see the best pressure?
Still all about the pressure here.
Jibe show, I reckon.
Talk on board Euroflex about whether they're going to have all 4 boards down and sail low towards the mark, or whether they're going to have 3. So they're opting for the windward board to go down at the moment.
Yeah. Okay, turning now.
Rolling straight into a jibe here.
And we've seen how quickly that margin has compressed from 3 football fields to just a couple of metres. The race is back on.
Go board. Pavement just getting out first and getting into the new pressure first, so you should see that lead go back out to sort of where it was, about 20 seconds. Euroflex not far behind them, and the Cleanmade doing a great job again. Go Olivia.
Okay, we're tacking then. Good board.
Olivia Price deciding to tack onto lay to round the top left gate
3,
for the second
2,
time.
1, puff on now. Say again. Easy. Doesn't get any better out here, Steve.
Pavement loving it. They're in a winning position.
But ID will be hating this test. Their decision to go for the big main has blown up in their face.
Yeah, look, Nick, I think they're expecting it to be windier out on the course, and with the light air, they just haven't got enough sail area to get enough power in the boat to keep it foiling.
And we can see just how tricky those conditions are. Our front runner Pavement's got a lead of 20 seconds, and she's finding it hard in the shifting breezes, and it looks like Cleanmade has got an anchor on too.
Cleanmade had to jibe straight away.
Yep. Taking off. Only one out here. Taking off.
As you see here, Tech 2 turn downwind, and once you get away, you get that first puff. It's often a case of the rich get richer. The further down the track you go, the more wind there is, and they'll just keep sailing away.
Asking to keep the weight in there, and it's costly because record points just rolled over the top of Tech 2.
Yeah, Nick, you can see the dark pressure line building across near the jetty. That's going to make a huge difference to the speed of these boats as they sail into it.
Almost 3 here, boys. Could be go 3 points, unless we're jibing soon.
They're looking at 3-point foiling so they can sail higher up and chase the pressure.
It's a jibe in about 30 seconds, okay?
The pressure hits them there and they take off.
Little soft here, 2-1 soft, and then a large increase out here.
Very tricky when the breeze is so inconsistent. You've got to call it accurately so that the trimming and the steering's in time.
Massive puff electricity. Just got to watch them, yeah?
Copy.
The capsize?
Yep.
Oh, that could prove costly for Pavement as Euroflex comes screaming back in contention. We thought she was out, she was in last, and now she's back in the party.
Oh, this is going to be a close crossing, Nick. Oh, Euroflex jibes on top of them on their line there. Close racing. They haven't infringed. They've got away
What
with
about
it.
record point as well? It's all turning to water out here in Geelong.
We'll have a line on here.
And Phil Robertson's again in the bad books. But the racing continues. Euroflex ahead.
It's all down the inside. It's a jibe at the mark, at the finish.
They're coming through the bottom gate here on the second downwind. There's pressure on the inside, so both boats are wanting to jibe as soon as they can to get out into that new line. You can see a lot of lift in the foils is needed to keep the boats flying in this 8 knots of breeze.
Good to see Sam Phillips, Neil Hunter. Everyone's okay. They're on the boat now, and you can see the rescue boat there ready to tow them up again.
It's always a good sight, Jimmy, knowing everyone's okay. And this battle, again, it's a leapfrogging contest.
Super tricky to be able to play your position and your tactical spot relative to the other boat here when the pressure's so up and down.
It's on now.
It looks like for now that Steve Thomas and the Pavement Trio are doing enough to keep Euroflex at bay, but this is where the pressure kicks in.
Yeah, so you can see the white gates in the picture there, and that's where they're racing to. So Nathan Outteridge trying to position himself inside Steve Thomas here, but they're in very different pressure, even though they're only 50 metres apart.
Can we get down to the mark, or are we jibing? Jibing. Jibing right too? Yep. Think about it.
And Tessa, these are the moments in the racing where the decisions are so paramount to get it right. Nathan Outteridge, an Olympic gold medalist, and himself not 100% sure.
Yeah, Nick, the more pressure, the more they build their apparent wind and the lower they can sail. So picking this final angle approach into the bottom gates is very difficult here. Both doing a lot of manoeuvres, which is going to slow them down and bring them really close together. But Pavement maintaining the lead. They're both rounding the left gate here as they start to turn the boat up through that max power zone onto the final upwind of the race.
Well, Euroflex, they're dodging everything in their path at the moment, and they've got their eyes set on the top prize. They'll take on Pavement. Who'll win? We'll find out next.
Go board.
Here we go. So you see Pavement getting that windward foil down, and they're going to try and tack. So they're going to try and lead Nathan up on that port tack up the racetrack. So Steve Thomas obviously thinks he can lay that start line, and Nathan Outteridge thinks, no, you've got to go a bit further. So he's going to put it in the oven for a little longer.
Love that, Jimmy, putting it in the oven. Hopefully nothing gets burnt out there. As we see, Pavement and Euroflex just 5 seconds splitting these two at the moment.
They were happy with that tack on board Euroflex. They can see pressure. They're calling it coming on the inside there. They're trying to get into a high mode to minimise their distance leading up to the middle gate on this final upwind.
Look at the speed test. They're building.
And clean mate, ID still at the top marks, struggling. Clean mate still got a while.
Okay, where's the bottom marks?
Bottom marks straight through here, Parker.
Righto.
Quite a long way to extend through.
Aidan Menzies and Luke Parkinson talking shop, trying to emulate these two, Pavement and Euroflex.
Yeah, so as we know, what we're looking for is that centre hull to be as close to the water as possible. We don't want it to touch. When it touches down, it's like glue. It just grips your boat, pulls the boat speed back. So this is a competition of who can keep their airtime higher without that middle hull flying right up too high off the water. And you can see Nathan Outteridge rolling straight over Steve Thomas here. He's got that extra money in the bank. He can put the bow down, spend a bit more, just keep the boat going faster.
Really close racing. It looks like that inside pressure is coming down to Euroflex and they're getting it just before Pavement here. The breeze is building. They're 3 out on the traps here. You can see Ian lean in on the bow there just to pull the controls on a bit tighter, flatten the sail off, and they're pretty comfortably flying now.
Yeah. Happy to put the bow down so we can keep leaving. And it's left angle in front.
On board Pavement, they're pretty confident that the new pressure is going to come from the left. They may have made a mistake initiating the tack early on in this leg of the course and allowing Euroflex to sail on their inside there. In the sailing textbook, to cover your opponent, you want to stay in between them and the next mark, and Pavement has opted to risk and have leverage to leeward.
It's pretty good this way at the moment.
Hearing from Nathan Outeridge there, he practically wrote the textbook, and Paul Campbell-James needs to read it because he's in 5th position. The only boat behind him is the one that's sinking.
Yeah, bow down 2. They've gone bow down. Match. Soft going here.
So it's just a pure drag race right now. You can see the two boats less than 100 metres apart. There we go, Steve Thomas tacking, and Nathan's doing exactly what Steve did to him previously, and he's just going to tack right on top of him, try and stay in the same wind that he's going to get. But this race is going to be won or lost to this top mark. Who can get in and out without getting caught by that lull and stuck at the top mark?
Euroflex is prioritising having that covering position over pavement as they approach the top mark for the last time. Lowering down on the trapeze here, pavement's got to sail quite a low mode and keep it fast to be able to get back in front.
Going soft.
Well, just as pavement are going soft, the Euroflex have had their sailing Viagra and they're going right past them at the moment.
Great analogy there, Nick. Pretty funny. All right, back on board Euroflex here. They're really flying. Both boats have got to give this everything they can.
Oh, we got a capsized boat.
Sometimes when you're in the lead, you're not aware of exactly what's happening behind you. They've now turned and they've seen record point is pointing downwards. All they care at the moment, Euroflex, is keeping that lead to pavement.
We're almost there, boys.
Almost on the final lay to approach the top mark.
One and turning. Sorry, a little aggressive.
Not the best tack on this final lay line. They have been conservative here. They're slightly overlaid to maintain that covering position over pavement.
Keep pressing. Got him here, boys. Nice.
Yeah, look, the pavement lads, super impressive here. They're really hanging in with Nathan. Nathan's doing a great job of linking that pressure together. And look, you can see Steve's closed the gap. Steve's chasing down Nathan Outeridge. He was his training partner for a little bit before the Rio Olympics, so he had a bit of chat that he sort of knows his style and knows how he's sailing, and he's doing a really good job right now.
Knows him inside out and looking to turn him inside out, but it's Euroflex at the moment that are building speed and taking off. Can they carry that pace across to the finish line? We'll find out soon enough.
Yeah, like 10 or 15 seconds probably.
Euroflex, our series front runner, travelling at pace and looking to shut the gate on pavement, 60 metres ahead at the moment.
Going around this mark. Possible early jibe. Go board.
Pavement looking to undercut them here, going for an early jibe.
Okay, and driving. Smoke the jib. Yep.
Pavement jibe setting here immediately around the mark. They've shown they're going to battle this out all the way to the end here.
And they're going to battle from the front because they've just scooped in and caught Euroflex napping. That lead has now changed hands. An 18-second deficit is now a handy lead.
3. Gust on. Need weight. Need weight. Need rake, Steve.
Euroflex has rolled over the top of pavement to take the lead.
Come on, boys. You were saying weight. Yeah, I was saying both.
Confusion on board.
Right.
Not sure whether they're needing more weight up on the side of the boat or more lift in the rudder foils.
They're 3, guys. We're 4. We're struggling. Pressure in front. Yes.
Is this the race slipping away from pavement? Euroflex are flying on their way to the finish line. This has got to hurt.
Plenty happening down here. We've got the battle for first and second not far away from the finishing line, but behind me we've got the ID. They've pulled out of this race to change mainsails. They're a bit underpowered and they've made the decision to put the big gear up for the next race.
Euroflex has found a gear 5. They are sending it here in the pressure. They've got the breakthrough they've been wanting all throughout the race.
Now driving in 8 seconds. After them? Around them. Yep, straight around them. Okay, anytime.
They've scrambled from last. They're in first, closing in on another victory here, Euroflex. Probably the hardest fought for them. Who would have thought from last place they could come back and be closing in on the line? Glenn Ashby in front of his family and friends, flying high in the Geelong sky.
Okay.
You beauty.
Soaking through.
The finish boat there with the orange flag. They're about to cross the line.
All right, we had to work for that one, boys.
Yeah.
Well done. Well done, Goobs.
Well, a bit of relief there for the guys on board Euroflex. Their undefeated run continues. 24 World Championships between the three of them, and they relied on every single one to get them home.
Finish is 90 left. Pressure's back inside.
They've got that pressure they were wanting at the top of the course here. The breakthrough's just come a little too late, sending it now on the final lay line to their finish.
Can go easy, boys.
Nothing easy about that assignment for Pavement. They gave Euroflex plenty of headaches, and this is a well-fought, well-earned second-place finish for Steve Thomas, Reece Mara and Dan Morris-Tess.
Yeah, good performance, Nick. Tight racing. Two small mistakes from the team Pavement. They didn't cover when they had the opportunity on the upwind, and that mistake with the rudder lift and the weight confusion early on in the downwind really cost them the lead.
The post-mortem will start sooner rather than later, knowing Steve Thomas and the boys. They don't muck around, they'll dive straight into it.
We nailed it on the early jibe out of the line, out of the top mark. That was good. Just got...
Yeah, we had
just lost our process of switching the boards, getting them all good.
So looking to make some tweaks before the final race. Make sure they get all over those little hiccups.
I'm sort of relying on feel. Yeah, but you got no idea what the rate is when you're using south to accelerate.
Yeah. Okay, so potentially just have to work out what the priority is.
You could grab the button and put it in, or
Teamwork's critical. You've got to get the sail trim matching the rudder lift that you put on the foils, and to get it working throughout the turn so you can get the boats up and flying. On board Tech 2, back to the race.
Cannot win a boat, can lose the boat.
Copy.
Not always what you want to hear, Nick.
No, what a great line from Aidan Menzies there, the main sheet hand. We could use a few of these ourselves. Maybe you should write some down for us. Give us a few pointers to help spice up the broadcast.
Got to protect their position here. They can't afford to drop back.
It's nice and cruisy into the finish here, guys.
See, I don't know if the rake's working, but the flag's not working.
Some issue with the rudder foil lift control not working as well as he'd like. Four-point foiling.
Yeah, we're just really... I think we've got to go two-string. Let's go person out. Yeah.
Luke Parkinson calling for more weight out on the trapeze. He needs more power in the rig. He wants to get this Superfoiler going faster.
Yeah, definitely better with two on wire. Stretch legs, boys.
Bit cheeky telling the crew to stretch and get their weight right out here.
Especially for Sam Newton. He was involved in a nasty crash in Adelaide. He'll be feeling really ginger. He's doing well to just be out there at the moment.
Okay, let's just pick a good gust here.
Looking for a good time to jibe to get their final lay line into the finish.
I think we'll go quite a way here.
Most likely I'm going to fall through more road,
Yeah.
I'm going in front.
There's a good one out here, eh? I think if we go...
There's the marks.
Yeah, copy, but just keep going here.
Got one going inside you now.
Okay, stand by. 3, 2, 1, driving.
Luke Parkinson doing the Babe Ruth, pointing to the breeze.
Wait, right forward, yeah, nice.
And the team respond accordingly. This is Tech 2 closing in on third position. It's an incredible comeback from the destruction of Adelaide.
Wait out, Sam. Yep.
To returning in Geelong and making it look oh so easy for our third position here. Sam Newton will be loving this.
Oh, that view of the boat just lifting out of the water, Nick, is just amazing as they've got their final run. You can see the finish in the screen between the orange flag and the black and white pin.
3, 2, 1, jibing.
Ambitious stuff from Luke Parkinson. Stand by for foiling jibe. And almost, Tessa, almost.
All right, nice guys, this is third. Keep that. Solid.
It's a keeper.
Hard to know what to do at the top there, that first lap, kind of.
Here with the Dream Team, Nath, that was probably the best race of the series so far. Tell us what the battle was like.
Yeah, it was really tight. You can see the course is quite shifty, and we found a few holes and got a few penalties that we weren't too happy about. But, you know, we managed to claw our way back into that race, and Steve and his boys put up a really good fight, and still on that last run, it was anyone's race. So, you know, boys worked really hard to get us around.
How did you get through them at the top mark? What happened up there?
We just had a little bit of better pressure on the right-hand side of the track, sort of coming out of the streets of Geelong, and Glennie was talking to one of the locals this morning and they said you want it to be on the right, it's going to come down the main street, and we found one of those puffs to get into the lead.
Bit of local knowledge coming to the fore.
Absolutely, you know, we've been here a week and been talking to all the locals, and they're definitely giving us lots of opinions, so taking it on board.
Nice work, guys. Keep it up. Good luck for the next race.
Thanks, guys.
Not sure if Euroflex need any luck. CleanMade need a bit of breeze and a bit of luck to push them to the finish.
Okay, when we approach that top, we've just got to try and figure out the best way out from under this marina.
That's what I've been trying to do.
Yeah, I know. I just think we need to think about it a little bit more.
Just try harder, Josh. Try harder, buddy.
Thank you. That was good though. Like, we sailed through all the gusts and lulls really well. Checked on the inside pressure, all that. Like, there were a lot of very positives out of that.
The truth-telling experience continues on pavement as we take a look at the results after race 4. Euroflex just edging out pavement, Tech 2 with third, CleanMade on 10 minutes 29 behind, with Record Point and ID both unable to finish.
Let's have a look at the highlights from race 4. Euroflex, infringement at the start there, had to slow down with 2 tacks. Pavement got off to a roaring line there, really put the pressure on. CleanMade sending it down below.
Hey! Hey! I was in the zone there!
And Phil Robertson reminding us that he's the man in the zone. They were doing great, continuing with their top form on Friday with a nice little session today. So too CleanMade.
Little too much rudder lift on the foils around the bottom mark there, but the real game in this race was the challenge that Pavement gave to Euroflex.
But further back, Phil Robertson was in a zone of a different kind this time. Record Point going turtle as Pavement and Euroflex continued to fire blow after blow.
Euroflex has got the inside position on the upwind. They're trying to get the pressure line first, and as they come into the top mark, Euroflex is just in front, but as they round, Pavement decides to go for the early jibe, trying to get that inside position.
The undercut was an awesome manoeuvre, but ultimately they couldn't hold on to it as Euroflex put on the afterburners and roared towards yet another race triumph.
You had to work for that one, boys. Well done. Well done, Goose.
If you thought that was the best seat in the house, then think again, because the VIP vessel that we're going to be rolling out for the Express Superfoiler Grand Final in Sydney will leave that spot for dead. Make sure you jump onto the website to get your tickets today.
Work for that one, boys. Well done.
Woo-wee, what a close race that one was. I need a new shirt. It was sweaty just watching that, Tess Parkinson. Some thrilling racing, some of the best we've seen. And now we're going to see some of the best patch-up jobs in Superfoiler history, because there is some serious damage on Record Point.
Yeah, awesome racing there. Pavement really putting the pressure on Euroflex, and after Record Point's capsized, Sam Phillips has fallen through the mainsail. It's a bit of an old skiff joke. It's always the crew falling through the main, and they've torn the window off there, so they're going to have to acetone, get the salt and the water off around it, cut off that old piece of material and slap on a new bit of mylar.
Buff, buff, buff and repeat. Good job there from the boys on Record Point. And it was a lot of fun earlier in the week for one of the other skippers, Paul Campbell-James. He went to discover some of the delights of the Bellarine Peninsula. It was a sunny day for Paul Campbell-James as we took to the high seas with Lance and the team at Sea Bounty Mussels to harvest some of the freshest stuff in the world.
Just chuck it over the line. In between the boys. go back in. Let's go.
CJ, these boats are a little slower than the ones you're used to, but did you still have a good time today?
It was good. Actually, these guys are way more like farmers than they are like fishermen. You know, they put baby mussels in, they're growing, and they pull them out a few months later. So yeah, it's a cool industry. Pulling up some mussels. I don't really know how we do it yet, but we'll find out in a minute. So could you just crack that open and eat that?
I'd rather not.
If you guys can't do it.
I'm not massive on seafood, though.
That's quite good. Geelong seems a really, really nice spot. Yeah, looking forward to kind of touring around a bit more. It's really easy when you come to a sailing event just to stay within this 1 kilometre block between the hotel and the sailing club, and it's really important to go out and get as much viewing as possible.
And your daughter, Summer, she's 2 years old. How hard's it been being away from her?
Being away from Helen, my wife, and some of my daughters is the hardest bit of coming out here, but you know, they understand. You know, Summer's been picking up loads of new words, and she was saying, hurry up, Daddy, to me on the phone yesterday, which I thought was hilarious because I've never heard her say that before. And
saying, hurry up, Daddy, was that on the race course? She's not happy with your speed?
Yeah, I don't think she quite understands that much, but yeah, she'll be shouting that in a few years' time when she's watching the racing, I'm sure.
Have you been surprised by the amount of support? Everyone can see how close you are to knocking the Euroflex guys off their perch. That must be a nice feeling.
Yeah, it is a nice feeling. I kind of was thinking it was going to be exactly the opposite way around, and we were going to be the kind of the villains that, you know, I was trying to make as many analogies with the rugby teams and cricket teams, but actually it's been totally the opposite, and everyone's really been really supportive, which has been really good.
ID Intranet's Paul Campbell-James there as we look at the patch-up job on board Record Point, and that window, I'd be wanting a receipt for the craftsmanship there. Not sure if it's going to hold up for the test of time. About as under the radar as Superman's underwear there. They're not under the radar. Who is under the radar? We asked our skippers to tell us who.
Okay.
Am I looking at you? Yes.
Action.
Look, it's really difficult to tell what team's flying under the radar at the moment. As time goes on, I think, you know, like most events and most regattas, the cream will rise to the top.
Probably the most underestimated team would be Team Pavement. Very good sailors on that boat, and if they have a good day and they get their tails up, I think they'll be hard to beat.
The team that's flying under the radar is probably Record Point. They've done a lot of sailing in the GC32s. They're a really established team. However, they've probably spent the least amount of time on the boat.
The team that is flying under the radar in this series is probably the Clean Mate. I think you can never underestimate a woman, and I know Olivia's going to come out swinging, and yeah, it's going to be definitely one to watch out for.
I think the team flying under the radar is actually us. I think people might underestimate us, being a little bit less experienced in foiling boats, but hey, we're here to give it a go.
I think the Tech 2 boys, Parko's done, obviously just come off the Volvo. You know, he's super experienced in foiling. He's done America's Cups, and yeah, I think those boys could be ones to watch.
The team that's flying under the radar is CJ's team with Fang and Ed on board. They're just all really good sailors, but with a limited amount of experience, they are kind of seen as an underdog.
The team flying under the radar has to be Steve Thomas on his Pavement boat. They've done a lot of hours and a lot of development getting this boat together, so I think they're going to be pretty quick.
I think every team's got the ability to do well. There's some really good sailors on each boat. In my opinion, any boat's going to have the ability to win a race.
We've already seen, Tess Parkinson, that all the boats are starting to come together, and the field is really condensing in this just our second week of Superfoiler racing.
1 minute show warning. Anyone want an apple?
Olivia Price looking after her crew, making sure they've got enough food in their tummies to get ready for the next race. Record Point out on the port side, looking like they're setting up for a split tack approach into this start.
How do you like them apples? Glenn Ashby's so comfortable he'd forgotten about his helmet. And we're almost ready to go racing. No time to say goodbye just yet. We'll see you on the other side of this. Coming back for our second race of the program and some final adjustments before we go racing. Tess Parkinson, Euroflex pushed all the way in our first race.
Yeah, they're sailing really well. Looks like Ian Jensen just had some twists in his up and down rope on the boards here, but not long to go to the start.
At the moment.
Euroflex worried they're over the boat lay line and they're going to get squeezed out.
We need to go forward a bit here, guys. Just like gap off them if we can. Just high and slow.
Bearing away.
Boat end favoured at this start. Everybody bunched up. Record point. They've triggered early on that port tack approach. They're not going to cross the fleet here. They're going to have to go underneath.
Got record point coming in on port. Let's push forward. Want to get some height.
Clean Maid's going to hold record point out here. They don't want them to tack underneath and ruin their start.
30 seconds, 2, 1.
Clean Maid's going to need to start accelerating here.
We're almost racing here, boys. Yeah, racing.
And Olivia Price nailing that. She's got the door open and she's going to breeze past the open window of record point there and just absolutely maxing it out there. Great stuff from Olivia Price. CJ looking good on ID2.
Which is the best way to go here.
And further back, Euroflex having some serious questions, unsure if they're in the right position. It looks like ID and Clean Maid have made the early jump on them. And Phil Robertson on record point also sitting pretty.
Clean Maid have got a bit of puff as is.
ID and Clean Maid first lane starts there, smoking it. They've got to get the boats foiling, get that hull lifted out of the water.
This is a position to be savoured for Olivia Price. Clean Maid enjoying some clean air at the front of the race at the moment, ripping along, and she's got a nice handy lead over ID. And from the lay of those boats, she's also going to be celebrating some stretching room over Euroflex as well. She's got 17 metres to ID, almost 50 to Euroflex, and rocketing home at the moment. This is beautiful racing, and Euroflex chasing the tail.
Amazing work there from Olivia. She claimed the pin end. She's able to put the foot down as much as she wants and just sail her own race here. You can see Euroflex already 70, 80 metres behind her. And yeah, she's just going to try and control the fleet. And when they start tacking, she's going to tack as well.
ID have got good pace here. They've got a nice inside lane and they're lifting up. Looks like they're foiling most of the time. Euroflex also making the most of the pressure there. 3 out on trapeze.
And we can see at this moment, ID's just squeezed past Clean Maid in better pressure. That one's going to sting for Olivia Price.
Nothing, no wind. We really needed to keep going.
The wind shifted right. That low speed tax really hurt them, while ID here flying. They're thinking about attack as well. Rolling into one. They're going to cross back against Euroflex.
Oh, no.
And Paul Campbell-James, it's not his day. And he's realised straight away it was an error.
It looks like he doesn't have much wind at the moment, but he should.
Yeah, and these are some of the hardest conditions these boats will sail in. In the lull, you can't foil. In the gust, you can. So this is where we're going to see the biggest differences in the lead and the biggest gains and losses up the track.
And James, just as you were talking there, Pavement's made their way past Clean Maid as well. So their decision to go right is looking like a good one, and they're closing in on the front runners, Euroflex and ID. I wonder if they will continue to close that gap.
Gypsy's got pressure to win with.
ID wanting to keep their height here, keep in the pressure lane.
You boys hit it, I'm going to stay.
Olivia working the rudder buttons. She's trying to get some lift in to get the boat foiling. 2 crew out on the wire. The wind's building. That Pavement here, they've come from the right-hand side, Nick. And with the wind shift right, they could be leading.
It's a nightmarish scenario out there. No one's quite sure where the wind is coming from. It's a guessing game at the moment, and up for grabs, it's either rocks or diamonds at the moment. And Clean Maid looking to polish it up. She's got crew weight outboard as they build up some pace in the breeze here, and Josh McKnight's out there. He's only got 15% body fat according to our DEXA scan, so I'm not sure how much his weight is going to be making any real difference right now, Tess.
Pavement have made a massive gain out of the right shift here. They risked early, they tacked off the start, and they've come back with a good lead. They're on a lifting angle here, coming into the top gate for the first time.
Step after, get her up here.
Sometimes you've got to risk it for the biscuit, and Pavement paying off, gobbling up some precious metres. They're in the lead right now.
Okay, light spots coming here, lads. Don't overpush. More jib on.
Nearly 100 metres on Euroflex for Pavement there. That's a really impressive run.
A bit more jib, please. What do you think of boys, Ed? What do you think on the boys?
On board ID being really accurate with their weight and sail trim.
Just asking Ed Powys what he was thinking. I wonder what Pavement's thinking about this close call with Euroflex though.
Yeah, go 4 points.
She's got the lead at the moment. Dogfight we had in the first race, it's reignited again. These two going at each other, and Pavement wanting to go one better than she managed in the opening encounter, and so far Steve Thomas is doing exactly what he needs to, throwing the pressure to Euroflex.
Pavement have taken the lead. They're first around the top mark, ahead of Euroflex here. They've got 4 boards down. Euroflex deciding on the technique they're going to use. They're going to stick with 3 boards, try and sail higher and faster.
Yeah, I think the racetrack's changing so quickly. So you saw Pavement make the early gain out in the right, and then they go, that wind's not there anymore. So now it's in the left, and they're just going to keep making every decision on what they see. They're going to sail what they see. And interesting here, Nathan Outridge, once again, only on those 3 foils, he's got that board up. You can see how much faster he's going, but the difference is Pavement, they've got all 4 down and they're lower. So just because you're going faster doesn't mean that's the better option. It's all about getting down the track, and I think Steve Thomas right now has much better angle down the track, and that lower speed is possibly going to pay off.
Really slowly.
Dan Morris will be loving this. He's got the best seat in the house in one epic battle here.
I've got us close to late. Setting up. And go board. Nice.
They're jibing back to converge through the middle gate before their approach to the bottom marks.
Well, they've got to be tough here, Pavement. They've got to back themselves. They crumbled like a cashew first time around. They've got to be tough like a macadamia here and back themselves all the way. They've got the lead. They need to hold on to it and upset Euroflex from grabbing another race win here. So far, so good, Steve Thomas.
Walk it forward, walk it forward. There we go.
Euroflex gaining speed out of a slow jibe. It's very difficult to foil with 4 boards down. Pavement doing a great job of getting depth every opportunity on the downwind. They need to get that boat a bit flatter though, too much leeward heel.
Yeah, so full credit to Pavement there. They decided it is 4-point foiling. They made the gain on Nathan Outridge. You've got the guys that have won every single race so far. They're in a different combination, and you're saying, nah, we know what we're doing. We know this is right, and we're going to stick to it.
What are you thinking as we get further down here?
Well, I'm not sure what they think, but they just need to go fast because Pavement is stalking them. They're going to keep chasing them, and we'll find out who wins this battle on the other side of this.
Squeeze through this gap. I'll go in. For overlap, we get room. For overlap, we get room.
Looking for the overlap, Euroflex.
Go in.
And calling for it as well to Steve, but that'll fall on deaf ears because he's just having an absolute laugh there, rattling the sabre.
Okay. There was a big lull up that first beat and around the top mark, but it's just filled in on the front of these darker clouds that have rolled through the racetrack now. So I think we've got about 8 to 11 knots on the race course right this minute, and it looks fairly steady. ID carrying it across the middle of the racetrack, and the 2 leaders also in it as well.
At the other end, Cleanmate's gone from first to last.
Driving?
Hop on, here it is.
Get this board to 2.
Cleanmate's got to get themselves in that new pressure line coming down the course. It's making a big difference in this race.
And uncharacteristically loose there from Euroflex. The pressure's starting to tell.
Let's build and then we'll jibe, okay? No rush.
It still sounds calm on board.
Yep.
We're going board up out of this?
We'll see.
I think yes. Yes.
Okay. Standing by.
Glenn Ashby calling. They're going to 3-foil out of this jibe. They need to get some more pace to close gauge on pavement.
It's a great little battle, this one. Pavement so far holding their own. They've got a 70-metre plus lead, but Euroflex isn't going anywhere.
And it looks like Tech 2 in very big pressure and are overlaid on the start-finish mark. This is going to be pretty epic stuff coming into the gate. Absolutely motoring here. They're doing about 33, 34 knots. Just cooking there. They look like the F1 fighter jet.
Take 3, yeah, 1 out only. That's it, nice guys.
You're going to come into more pressure here, Parko. Transition in the next 2. 1.
Copy.
Any time?
Tech 2 all of a sudden in third. I wonder if they'll come into calculation for our front runners here.
Okay, here we go.
Turning around the bottom mark for the first time in this race.
Huff will get us in a second.
Not too worried about that touchdown. There's more pressure coming.
Stand by 4 boards.
But they'll soon be worried about these guys. Tech 2 are roaring into it from the heavens. They've got a nice speed build and they're scything through the fleet at the moment. She's up into third and she's coming in hot.
Yeah, awesome work there by Luke Parkinson. You see they're almost a full foiling jibe, but he's right next to pavement now. They've just passed him on the upwind leg, but he's fully caught up to Euroflex. He's pulled about 400 or 500 metres on a single downwind. There you go.
Close here.
Just like motorsport, on the inside, you have rights away. He's going to whip it inside and exit that mark in front of Euroflex. Amazing stuff by Luke Parkinson.
This is gutsy stuff from Parko and Tech 2.
Trav, when you can, I can help with the main sheet.
There'll be an umpire call over that incident for sure. Tech 2, no rights, sent it in there, but I don't think they infringed Euroflex, so they might get away with it.
Green flag.
Green flag, no penalty.
Oh, but there's an incident with ID and it's Ed Powys going for a swim there off the bow. He's improved his stroke to the doggy paddle we saw from Paul Campbell-James last week. Good to know the Brits are making some leaps and bounds in the swimming department there, but it's a bad from worse scenario for ID Intranet. It's been a weekend to forget for Paul Campbell-James.
Keep working on that chip, please. Okay, smoke it.
They've just parked up here.
Yeah, certainly was.
Ed Perry's absolutely smoked there. He's the one that has to run in and out through the gusts and lulls, and now he's just had to do a quick 50-metre freestyle in between. So he is absolutely smoked. Those forearms are going to be pumping. He can barely hang onto that wire.
Also pumping it is the boys' onboard record point. They're sending it.
And we're off.
And they're splashing it.
Really good pressure here. Rotator in.
Good to see they're keeping their humour.
Smashing her up here, lads.
And Dan Morris not doing a bad job there either on the bow. He's smashing it down. And this is our leader test. Pavement still enjoying a nice little cushion here ahead of Euroflex. They'll be savouring this one.
All the way to the spectator boat, I think.
Euroflex feeling the pressure. This is a really close battle between Tech 2. Record points also back in the game after building speed on that rounding.
Oh, this is great. We're seeing the fleet condense here, and Euroflex isn't just fighting for first, they're now fighting for second. Tech 2's leapfrogged them, and it looks like Pavement's in the clear, and after falling over at the final hurdle, hopefully she'll be able to go one better now.
Yeah, Nick, we've got Euroflex just going around behind us here. The pressure has built up to sort of 15, 16 knots, so quite a jump, and the race has been shortened. So they're going to go up to the top mark and then back down to the finish. So you'd have to say Pavement in the box seat at this stage.
Big build.
Well, in the box seat, especially with the race being shortened, that'll play into Pavement's hands perfectly here.
Try and get it going a little quicker.
Intensity on board Euroflex. They're trimming that main in. They want more out of the boat's performance. Pavement setting up to go into attack. It's all on for the final upwind. Such close racing here with the up and down pressure. The boat speeds are really hard to keep consistent.
It's going to get real stop-start again soon.
Like the Dalai Lama there, Nathan Outeridge, nice and calm, ready to rock it on.
I think there might not be a tip on that board, but let's pull it up and have a look.
Yeah, there is no tip on this board. Yeah, okay, stop the boat.
Well, some massive drama on ID there. They've got some serious damage there.
ID chase, we need rib alongside. We have no port tip on our board.
Oh no, Jack, their cactus, ID gone.
No, it's just because it went over negative on the...
Yeah, they've had a major failure on the port dagger board, so what we call the tip of the board has snapped off completely. It's dragging in the water, but that's the end of their day, unfortunately. So these things happen with these highly strung boats.
It's a shame for them, but Euroflex, they're highly strung in a professional sense, and they're closing the gap on pavement. The battle for first and second still very much on Tess. What happened? What happened with ID just then?
They would have put the main foil down with too much negative lift and the pressures caused the tip to snap off. But tricky racing, you can see it's all about linking the pressure lines together here, staying in the most amount of breeze and keeping that hull flying out of the water for as long as you can. Small touch down there on Tech 2.
3, 2, 1, go board.
Wonder if they're within a sniff of the win here too, Tech 2.
All good. Build here.
Bit of a touchdown, but there's more pressure on the exit of this tack, and Pavement have got the lead. I wonder if they can hang on to it again, or this time for the final downwind.
Surely they can, Tessa, otherwise someone's going to have to put me out of my misery, riding with Clean Made.
The main sheets come off here. They've lost all power in the boat and the whole crew have just fallen in the water. Pretty funny, Nick.
Oh, it's wetter than an ice cube at an ice skating rink, Tessa. Amazing stuff. At the other end of this, the battle for first heats up.
Are we retiring?
I can make this happen. We might
Yeah, all good. Just our main sheet keeps breaking.
Okay, are you retiring from this race now?
Not yet. Hold tight.
Copy that, good girl.
Well, Clean Made not giving up the fight. They'll soldier on, and Pavement aren't giving anything up to Euroflex either as we get ready to close in on the finishes. The two front runners are almost about to converge here, Tess. This one is going to go right down to the very wire.
Pretty interestingly here, we could have a split. Yes, we will have a split at the top mark. Pavement's rounded the right mark. Euroflex going for the left. So whichever way that pressure comes in for is who's going to be leading coming down the bottom run.
Well, still, Steve Thomas will feel like this is either the winning moment or the moment he's lost it again. A lot's going to hinge on that.
So hard when you're leading because you don't know what mark the other boat's going to round. And Euroflex have got awesome pace out here. They're absolutely flying.
Happy anytime. Yep.
There's a lot to like. Of course they're happy with that. Class.
Nice scoops.
And the congratulations are already being doled out on a beautiful foiling jibe, Tess.
Oh, that jibe was just so smooth. 4-point foiling through the turn.
My buttons. Good puppy. Around there, Bell. Yep.
That's why they call them the dream team. Look at the ride height. They're perfectly soaring.
Really good. Yeah, let's settle it down a bit. I think we're rushing into the next thing. Listen to the comms, more ease. Let's get the boat going.
Yeah, so Pavement split at the top mark there. They went looking for that Main Street puff that Nathan picked up last time, and you can see Steve Thomas so frustrated right now. His heart will be in his throat. He knows that Nathan Howderidge on Euroflex is absolutely sending it, probably going much faster. He's having to do a few manoeuvres here, and Nate's just going to go one and into the middle gate.
Jimmy, you can hear it in that high-frequency hiss, a piercing sound on Euroflex, and deathly silence by contrast on Pavement.
Okay, turning.
Yeah, Euroflex, look, they've gone that left turn and they're just going to lick it, stamp it, send it into the finish. They're going one board and they've had all the pressure the whole run down, and Steve Thomas, that small mistake lets these guys through every time.
They're going to capitalise on that, Jimmy, for sure. Here they are, baby. Signed, sealed and delivered. They've done a Stevie Wonder and they've got all the bickies here. Too good from Euroflex. They continue their undefeated run in spectacular circumstances.
They shortened the course.
And that's the moment they realise they've just crawled pavement again. Euroflex, the winner of our second on the program. And Steve Thomas misses out again.
You wait again if you want. I'll hold. Have a look at the wind.
They still think they're racing here.
A little knock there.
Oh no, Tessa. Oh, they don't realise that they've run out of runway to catch Euroflex. That's heartbreaking.
And Tech 2 blazing down. They've got good pace on these downwinds.
Nathan, stop. Can we go to the bottom and get up?
Yeah, let's keep going. Yeah, copy that.
They don't know the course is shortened.
Not yet, not yet.
Very close to finishing here.
I can't see pavement, can't see pavement.
Pavement has gone downwind, no issue.
Copy
no
that.
issue.
Copy, I thought that was a Lewis.
Yeah, good call, mate.
I'm waiting.
Oh, and confusion aplenty for Tech 2. I'm not sure if they realise that they're just about to take out third position in the race. 1 minute and 6 behind our leader, Euroflex. Is this a training run, or do they still think they're on like pavement?
Just riding it low. Yeah, I think we do.
They do think they're still racing by the sounds of things. They think the battle's still on.
Big one to drive in.
20 seconds.
Let's go board down and get comfortable.
Yep. Stand by board. 2, 1, go board.
Into the jibe, they are absolutely smoking. This is the most breeze we've had all day.
Great execution there from Sam Newton, planted it perfectly. And we've got some potential onboard audio from pavement there.
Is that your trap wire under there coming out the back of our boat?
As record point cross for fourth.
Awesome work, lads. Awesome work.
And Nick, their sail repair has held on beautifully.
Yeah, it's amazing. They deserve a good review on Yellow Pages for that one. I wasn't sure it'd get them home, but they've got fourth. That's superb stuff as Tech 2 continue.
They're using this for training time. They didn't get the boat on the water in Adelaide, so they're making the most of any opportunity to fit in more sailing.
And Cleanmade making the most of their time on the water as well, building up speed, enjoying the breeze.
10 minutes to finish.
Cleanmade working hard to finish within the 10-minute time window, and we can see now the other teams that have finished debriefing together with their coaches.
To be a fly on the wall there. This is sad to watch though. This is ID Intranet.
Affirmative, we have retired for the day.
And it's going to be a massive effort to get them back on the race course in the future here in Geelong too. That's a real setback.
All right, boys, I think, yeah. Yeah. Race committee, this is Cleanmade. We're retiring from this race.
Cleanmade's retirement announced with a smile. I'm not sure there'd be too many smiles on pavement after they surrendered their lead to finish 16 seconds behind Euroflex, who maintain their unbeaten run. Let's have a chat now with Steve Thomas on board pavement after their close finish.
So Steve, a great couple of races, race 4 and 5, fantastic effort. You pushed Euroflex all the way to the line. What have you changed? What are you doing better?
Yeah, thanks, Jack. We haven't really changed a lot. We're just refining the processes, and you know we're making a big effort today to just keep things simple and try and just execute the decisions as well as we can. I was talking to Nath after racing on Friday, and he gave us a few little tips about how to do the tacks a bit better, and I think in race 4 we actually might have beat him in the tack, so that was pretty cool.
Yeah, you're definitely tacking better for sure, and it looked like it was pretty key getting around to the top mark and getting away in pressure. Euroflex got the better of you there a couple of times?
Yeah, the decision to 4-point versus 3-point was really tricky, and we sort of missed a few of the top mark lay lines, so we didn't come in with as much speed as we would have liked, and the faster you come into those top marks, the easier it is to get out and get downwind. If you're slow and on, in the water, then it's a big pickup, and you lose a lot of meters pretty quickly.
You look pretty locked in upwind. The boat was going like a train. How was it feeling?
Yeah, no, it's feeling really good. We've done a lot of work on the boat to get the upwind speed over the last few days. I think we were lacking a bit with that in Adelaide, and pretty stoked with how it's going.
So double points. What's it going to take to beat that blue boat?
I think much of the same. We just got to keep getting better and refining, and we know we can get in front. Now we just got to stay in front.
Great stuff, guys, and good luck for the rest of the series.
Cheers, Jack.
Next up, we dispel an old rumour that cats don't like water, and we take some big Geelong celebs for a ride. The entertainment in Geelong isn't just limited to the waterways. They've also got a world-famous sporting team, the Cats from Geelong, one of the AFL's finest, and they were ready to take on the Superfoiler. A few nervous smiles there from the Cats boys as they go soaring on the ID Intranet Superfoiler.
So we're not really trying to let her rip, but you get a little feeling of how fast we could go.
I've never really been out in the bay at all, so to do it on a boat like that is pretty awesome.
I got told when I first got on there that if it nosedives on the first one out, so I was gripping pretty hard, but I think we hit 60k or so, 30 knots, so it was unbelievable. I'm the same as Garth, first time out in the bay, and what an experience.
Absolutely fantastic to hear from the AFL's finest, picking up some sailing terminology. I reckon there'll be a few references to knots of training this weekend around Cardinia Park as we get a peek at some of the action behind the scenes at the Superfoiler. And it really is an all-hands operation. Everyone's involved striking the boats down, getting them back in our launch pad. And occasionally there's a bit of theatre. Ed Powey's doing his best Titanic moment there. "Hold me, Jack," he said at that very moment. He knows exactly where the cameras are. And we took the cameras inside the boat park to have a chat, and we started off with Olivia Price to get her thoughts on sailing the Superfoiler.
Today was my 8th time on board the Superfoiler, so still massive learning curve. Playing the buttons I'm getting used to now, and it really is about just trying to keep that boat level. So you're constantly pressing buttons, every 1 second, 2 second, whether it be the rudder or the board, really is a constant thing. We went downwind today, 3-point foiling. We've done a lot of 4-point in the series, so we just wanted to give it a try. And it felt quite comfortable. It's a different feeling again. You're going a bit faster, sailing a bit higher, and we were just trying to figure out a different groove. So initially it was a big acceleration and I was a little bit nervous, but once we got used to it, you get a bit desensitized from the speed. So it was really good just to give it a go and see what we were doing.
What's the key to sailing these boats, the Superfoilers in particular?
I think communication, working as a team is a big thing. It's a big team aspect, and then just being in tune with what each person's going to do, and talking Olivia through like the buttons and what we're feeling on the boat, because sometimes you can lose a bit of feel when you step off trapeze. Lots of feedback and communication.
So Harry, over to you. This is the grunt on the boat. He's a big lad, one of Australia's up and coming champions. Tell us about your experience on the Superfoiler so far.
Yeah, it's been pretty awesome. We've hit some new top speeds. Yeah, I think we hit about 28 knots or something in 10 knots of breeze, so just unbelievable. It's crazy.
And do these two behind you bicker much? Are you like piggy in the middle or what?
No, it's not too bad. I mean, everyone has little disagreements, but overall on the boat we get along well, and as you can see, they're getting along all right there. So no, it's all good.
What is the dream team doing right, and what do you need to do to improve and beat them?
Oh mate, they've just got so much experience in boats, similar sort of foiling in small boats, and yeah, we're catching up. You know, I think everyone's catching up, and they just do the little things right. They're really switched on, so they're pretty top world-class sailors, I think you could say. And look, it's great having them here because we're learning off them, and we can watch them and see what they're doing and chuck it into our playbook as well. So no, it's good to have them, and for sure we're going to take them down soon.
So Sam, you're a highly experienced 49er campaigner, part of the Australian sailing team. You've jumped on and had an instant impact. Tell us what your initial impressions are of the Superfoiler.
Yeah, well, like you said, it was only my first day on the Superfoiler yesterday. Awesome boats, like unbelievably fun, fast, and being on trapeze, going that fast is definitely a new experience and pretty awesome. But yeah, these guys, Neil and Phil, they made it pretty easy for me coming in. Only my second day yesterday, so it was pretty good to get some good results.
What's the key to sailing this thing?
I'll tell you when we figure it out, I think. I don't think we're quite there yet.
Neil, over to you, mate. So probably the biggest axe in the bow on all of these boats. Tell us how you're going and how you're enjoying sailing with Phil and Sam.
Yeah, I mean, it's been awesome to step in. Phil called me up. I was actually in Australia already doing some GC32 sailing, and Phil called me up and asked me if I wanted to come superfoiling, and it's been an awesome experience. It's great to step into a new class like this and do something new. It's been really cool, yeah, and I think everybody's just learning how to sail the boats, and the amount of development that's going on and the way they're sailing the boats every day is just massive. So it's really cool, actually, yeah.
You used to sail with Nathan Outridge a long time ago. What were you sailing, and what can you bring into this regatta and knowing what they're doing and how to beat them?
Yeah, I started with Nathan on a 29er and 420 through our youth days. Gives me a little bit of an edge. I know the way he thinks and things like that. So doesn't make it any easier to catch him, but at least I sort of generally know what he's thinking. So just bringing that little bit of knowledge and yeah, just trying to get through.
Park, I've done a lot of sailing with you. I know exactly what you're like. You really push boats and you like going fast and you're not really afraid of much. Tell us what's the Superfoiler is bringing you and the enjoyment that you're getting from it.
Yeah, maybe I do push the boat a little bit hard sometimes, so it's just trying to manage that now and choosing when to put the right foot down. It's just the racing practice that we really missed from Adelaide, and just catching up on that as quickly as we can.
So moving over to Sam, tell us what the dynamic's like.
No, look, it's good sailing with these guys. I like watching them, you know, battle it out between them, little arguments here and there. But no, I'm new with these guys, but I've got a good team, good skipper. He's really good on the helm, and you know, having Aiden in the middle, you know, completes the package. So just need to get out there and do some races and show what we've got.
How are you progressing, Stevie?
Yeah, really well. You know, we're learning a lot every day. We're part of the development of the boat, but now we're learning about how to actually race and handle the boats. A lot of the development was purely just getting the systems to run smoothly. So now we're like day one again for us. What's it like being on the wire of a Superfoiler versus a 49er?
I think just a lot more risk being on the wire on the Superfoiler. You're going to have big crashes, even just straight line sailing.
What's the magic carpet feeling like for you, the third dimension of flying?
Oh, we were talking about it yesterday. It's the best thing there is. Like if you didn't enjoy yesterday, you don't like sailing.
You're very right. Now we're over to the rock star Reese, otherwise known as the Rocket Man. You may or may not have seen that on the YouTube. It's had thousands of hits. Who do you have the biggest rivalry in the park?
Oh, I think you want to beat Nathan Goobs mostly, and Glenn. They're just really good sailors, and been sailing against Nathan Goobs back in the 49er for the last 5 or 6 years, so it'd be good to get one up over them here.
So apparently Nick's got a question for me to pass on to you, Stevie. Go ahead, Nick.
Yeah, absolutely right. Thanks, Jack. I was wondering if Stevie's taken his shirt off to try and help us with our viewers.
So the question is, Stevie, have you taken your shirt off to try and help us with the viewers?
Thanks, Nick. Yeah, you should get a few thousand more hits now.
Glenn, you've been smashing everyone to date. What are you guys doing right?
Yeah, look, it's been an interesting learning experience for for everybody, and I think the moth sailing, the ACAT sailing, a little bit of GC32, and obviously the America's Cup sailing for Nathan, Ian, and myself. You've got to take a lot of those different aspects and put all that together. And I think the last sort of few years for us sailing a lot of foiling boats, I think has been possibly a little advantage for us. But these boats are new, and we're all learning, and the other guys are learning very, very quickly. So we're having some fantastic racing, and to be able to sail and stretch your legs in some flatter water and some more open venues is absolutely brilliant. So really, really enjoying the yachting.
You were trimming the wing on the winning America's Cup machine. Now you're on this, you're pulling ropes. What sort of techniques can you bring across from that, and the difficulty involved in sailing the Superfoiler?
Yeah, look, there is a lot of similarities between quite a few of the foiling boats. Obviously, the soft sail versus the hard wing is a different beast. But having grown up sailing soft sails, being a sailmaker, you do get to have a little bit of an understanding of how things should work. But yeah, look, really, the boats are difficult to sail. Very easy to get stalled and park the boats, and very easy to roll the boats out to windward or to leeward. So your trimming accuracy is very, very important to get the boats around the track cleanly. As is the crew combination collectively between the three crew on board, the helmsman and the two crew forward. You really have to be working as one, and I think that's one of the really exciting parts of this boat. You're standing on the side of the thing, you've got the breeze in your face, you're not in a cockpit, you're literally sailing sort of an open wheeler type environment where you really are out in the open, and that's extremely exciting. Whilst the speeds aren't quite as high as the America's Cup sailing, it actually feels like you're going faster a lot of the time because you literally are just flying above the water, and it's a sensational feeling.
Your daughter's down and your wife down here today. These are your home waters on Corio Bay. Is it nice to be here racing on the Superfoiler Grand Prix?
Yeah, look, absolutely. I guess as the only Victorian here in the competition, it's fantastic to be sailing here in Geelong. A lot of family support, got a lot of friends here that have come down to have a look at the boats and also to look at the sailing. So, really enjoying, having a summer at home, and everybody are super impressed with the boats here. And fingers crossed tomorrow we're going to get some great racing in. So, looking forward to that.
Glenn Ashby's enjoying his summer at home, and why wouldn't he on Euroflex? They're undefeated here, 30 points ahead of Pavement, who pushed them all the way today. Some really close finishes there. Record Point 1 point behind them, and ID, Cleanmate and Tech 2 all in striking distance. We've got double points on the line tomorrow here in Geelong, so it should be some thrilling racing coming your way. On behalf of Tessa, Jimmy, Jack, myself, and of course CJ, it's bye for now.